Well, we are back for another edition of Bolton In, all thanks to the friendly team at Palmerbet. I've got the black jumper, boys. She's just freshened off a little bit here in Australia. As you can imagine, still no rain around, but it is certainly got a little bit fresher, as I say. A very good morning to Shane Anderson, all the way from Copenhagen. Sure, Shane, how are you, buddy?
Good, Matty. Good to be with you once again, and to Adam, you as well. Good to see you putting the jumper on, Matty, and it's getting a bit chilly because it means it's getting warmer over in my side of the world. It's
Yeah,
been a
mate,
long time coming.
you're getting the swing of it, aren't you? And, well, I tell you what, it's always hot in Vegas. They tell me, Adam McGrath, as we say, good evening to you. How are you, buddy?
I'm going well, mate, but I'm always okay with free merch as well. So if they want to send me one of those, I will wear it when it gets to 120 degrees over here happily, just to make sure they know I'm loyal and supporting.
Actually, they're nice jumpers, the old jumpers.
They look good.
And black's a little bit more forgiving than the white skin-tight T-shirt when you haven't got a real good rig on your boys. You boys might be able to get away with it, but yeah, I'm doubtful. Let's be honest. Hey, listen, a wonderful weekend of racing last weekend. All over it once again from a tipping side of thing. But let's start off with the Golden Slipper. A cracking edition. There were so many stories to come out of it, wasn't there, Shano? You know, like Jamie Carr staying on, Hayasugi, Storm Boy missing the start. There were so many different storylines, wasn't there? But a great victory by Lady of Camelot.
Yeah, she's a pretty special filly, toughest teak, as they say, and another Golden Slipper to Gay Waterhouse, 8 now for her since her first back in 2001, which is a remarkable effort to get 8 in 24 years. Second in partnership with Adrian Bott, and a pretty special filly. I mean, she was tough. She was great. She's come off what has been a fairly deep preparation. She ran well in a Blue Diamond, then to come back and win a Golden Slipper. Fantastic performance, some really good runs behind, a lot of discussion around Storm Boy, particularly with him being slightly slow to begin and whether that cost him or not. I'm not sure it did. But I think overall, it's probably going to be one of the stronger slippers. There looks to be a bit of depth of talent in this year's renewal, and looking forward to seeing how that continues to play out with the other Group 1s for the 2-year-olds coming up.
And Gay Waterhouse winning Golden Slippers on a Saturday, and she's winning 2 maiden hurdles on a Monday at Warrnambool, mate. That is the highs and the highs of racing, isn't it?
Yeah, some things don't change. The good stables just keep producing, don't they? But no, fascinating footage as well, watching her, obviously, when she was watching Storm Boy, and then all of a sudden she sees the filly late as well, and they were able to capture that. I was really happy for Matt Laurie as well. I mean, he's only lost by 0.14 lengths with his galloper at 40-1, and he's a really good astute trainer. I know when working for racing.com, you'd always look at his strike rate, and it was very high. He places them well. He's always got a really good team going. So, again, like what Shane said, I thought there was plenty of talking points from it. I think the form will be really good. I agree with Shane. I don't know if it cost Storm Boy, but I will say that I don't think the inside was the best place to be that day. So may have got a little bit closer, but that's 2-year-old racing. And we sort of talked about that when we did the preview last week, that you can't say anything's the best bet in a 2-year-old race because so much can happen. And we saw what happened to the undefeated favourite.
Yeah, absolutely. What about Imperatrice? She was magnificent in the William Reid Stakes. Bounced back, round the bend at the Valley. Gets the job done. She's a star, isn't she, Ads?
She is. I thought she had absolutely no right to win that. Now, when they were coming around the corner, I thought this is going to have to be some type of performance, especially with the horse on the back as well, making up some good ground. But that's what good gallopers do and good mares do. When she carried the weight, she carried the wide run, the unforgiving run as well, and able to perform so well to the line. So for mine, that was one of the best performances we've seen from her, because just the grit and determination when things go wrong over that 1,200 metres of the Valley was a very, very good performance.
Shano.
Yeah, winners win, as they say, and she's a winner. Very, very special mare. Well done to all concerned with her. And I do hope she's able to continue on her pathway now to see her up in Sydney, where she should be the one to beat in some of the big sprint races. I mean, she's just proven her record now over the last, pretty much all the way through her career, but legitimately for the last 18 months has been simply outstanding. So, yeah, great win, special mare, and a great day of racing.
Yeah, it was absolutely sensational day of racing. V8, what a victory this was. This horse deserved Group 1 for mine. At about $7.50. Shana, your best bet. A bit of value from my end as well. It was a really good, tough victory. And well done to Tony and Calvin McAvoy and the whole team. I reckon 1,500 metres, I think we spoke about this last week. I reckon that might be the pull-up. I know that sounds silly, but I just reckon 1,500 is the max there, boys. What do you reckon?
Yeah, tend to agree with you. He was in just magnificent order last weekend. I thought he looked fantastic pre-race in the vision, and then he's delivered in spades over Lady Laguna and Militarizer, ran exceptionally well. I mean, the George Rider over time, who get a high-class 3-year-old, they seem to be very well suited in that sort of weight for age scale in that race. But he is a high-class 3-year-old. And I think it's going to really set things up for the Doncaster if they do elect to go in that direction, or whether he sort of gets eased off and maybe goes to one age stakes. But the Doncaster with the likes of Lady Lacuna, Militarize, Golden Mile, think about it potentially going in that direction, or whether he goes back to sprint. Still, yeah, the list goes on. It's a phenomenal race coming up. But I thought V8, as you said, Matty, deserved that. I know Adam and I have sort of been on his bandwagon a bit all the way through, but it's good to see him get the job done there in the big one. And he's a very, very good colt.
Yeah, absolutely. What about the impressive victory out of McGrath via Sistina? And the strike rate, you talk about strike rates, but William Haggis, unbelievable strike rate. And you were all over it, Ads, and could not have been any more impressive, to be honest, last weekend.
Well, Shane and I sort of put the caution signs out as well, didn't we, with these horses when they're purchased over in Europe and they come across, and we build into a campaign and the money that was spent as well. And we put the caution out, still backed it, but tell you what, the caution was thrown away pretty quick when they ran 1-2, and I haven't seen a victory like that so easy. I mean, she was going to win such a long way out. I rewatched it a couple of times and saw that J-Mac didn't even use the whip, so that's how confident he was. I know that the margin wasn't huge, but never drew the whip, hands and heels the whole way. Couldn't have been any more impressive. If that's the start of what she's going to show us in Australia, they're in for a very, very good preparation.
Yeah, absolutely. Could not have been any more impressive. Zapateo at a big price, 26, stunned the field in the Galaxy. Shane, no. Did we have it in any quaddies or multiples or anything like that, boys?
This is the one that stung me. I had Sunshine in Paris going in all forms of exotics, including a decent little all-up with Riff Rocket and V8. So she ran well, but the photo certainly didn't go her way. But all credit to the winner. Well done to Godolphin, but I don't want to talk about that race too much because of the pain of the result not going my way.
I think it was the quaddie blowout for a lot of us too. And Riff Rocket, I think we're all over this too. Class above, of course, in the Rosehill Guineas. It's just a matter of which way the horse was going to go. We thought it was possibly going to go this way, and Julie saluted, and that horse has come back absolutely magnificent. This prep for mine.
Yeah, really good so far, hasn't it? Those first 2 runs were great. The extra distance was going to suit. I think we tipped in every race there, every race in Ascot, Brisbane, everywhere else around the country as well. We thought it'd be winning wherever it was. So it was good to see it get the job done. I'm looking forward to seeing where this horse goes now. I think it really is a 2,000-metre plus galloper. I know early days, stretched out there and still won the Derby. And I heard Chris Waller sort of mention post-race, he's not sure about the distance as well, but I'm intrigued just to see what they do this preparation, because he just looks stronger every time in parades, every time before the race as well. Matty, I remember you had someone out there saying he was going to look better that second run as well. And yeah, what I saw on Saturday, that's the best I've ever seen him look pre-race.
Pretty impressive, Shane.
Yeah, again, high class, middle distance staying 3-year-old. I thought he was super impressive. Don't know what beats him in the Derby unless one of the fillies goes in that direction. We'll probably get a good guide from the Vinery Stakes, which we'll talk about later on the show today. But at the moment, to me, he's clearly the one to beat for the Derby. And yeah, he was super impressive.
Beautifully done, Righto. Let's turn our attention now to the Australian Cup. Actually, before we do, I had one at a price, got missed in the rundown. My out wide last week, wish I win at $23. I think it started at about 18 or something. The boys at Palmer better miss this one, but Julie saluted, well backed, drifted out late, but it was a good win too. And the Moody team up and about as I was, ever so slightly, just roaring a little bit. But as I said, that third leg of the quaddie, any result there would have been a really even better result, if you know what I mean, boys. But a little bit of fun last week to finish the day at Sydney. Let's turn our attention to the 3 Group 1s this weekend, Australian Cup. It is going to be a cracker. The field, all thanks to Palmer Bet. Mr. Brightside at $2.45. Pride of Jetty at $2.90. A Tissue at $6. Cascade in at $8.50. Legato at $14. Vow and Declare. Norm's first up at $31. Young Werther at $31. And Dom to Shoot at $61. This is going to be an absolute belter. There's been so much discussion about the ride last time on Mr. Brightside. Pride of Jenny stepping out to the 2,000 metres for the first time. So much intrigue in this race for mine. I'm going to come back to you, Adam McGrath, and start with you, mate, and get your thoughts on the Australian Cup.
Took me a long time to do this race. There were so many possibilities. I probably changed my best bet numerous times. Well, more when I did it, I try to make them all best bets. So I try to see, Pride of Jenny, if it's going to win, how's it going to win? If Mr. Brightside's going to win, how's he going to win? In the end, I haven't gone with either of them. I've gone with Cascadian as the best bet for the race. I just think looking at them, I do think that Pride of Jenny is going to be vulnerable at 2,000 metres with the speed in the race. We know Mr. Brightside's obviously run a belter over 2,000 at the Valley as well. But when I looked at that run in the All-Star Mile, I mean, Cascadian tracked it the whole way. Cascadian was better for the last 800 metres, better sectionals the whole way through. Last year's winner in this race, I'm getting $2.40 about one and $9 about the other. So for mine, Cascadian's the true horse that wants this 2,000 metres, a light barrier 8. They'll get to the widest part of the track and really be able to run on strongly. And the speed from the horses like Pride of Jenny is really going to suit. So Cascadian will be my best bet. My value bet's going to be less of a price, but with the antics of backing both here. And I'm with a Tissue. Like this horse last preparation, flew home in the Empire Rose when just losing to Pride of Jenny over the mile, and then stepped out next time in the McKinnon and was able to win. And sort of followed that this preparation. Really good run in the Blamey, obviously won that. Now out to 2,000 metres. And this horse is just a genuine 2,000 metre specialist. 5 starts, 3 wins in a second, 2 from 2 at the track and distance, ticks all the boxes. So while I think Mr. Brightside and Pride of Jenny are milers, and I think they're better horses, I think these two are genuine 2,000 metre horses. I'm going to back the distance and the pedigrees here to beat the better horses stepping up in trip.
Yeah, good summary there, mate. Shane, I'm going to be interested now to get your thoughts, mate. Are you thinking along the same lines as Adam McGrath?
Yeah, I'm happy to steer away from the All-Star Mile 1-2. Now, look, the market's found them. I am interested in Mr. Brightside, a little bit shorter than Pride of Jenny, because based off their last start performance, I thought they'd be tighter in the market than, although there's not a huge deal, 245 to 290. I would have thought maybe more like 250 each of two. Pride of Jenny career peak in winning the All-Star Mile. We know she's going to go forward. We know she's going to go very fast, and she'll probably break the hearts of quite a few behind. But I tend to be siding with the way Adams assessed it, although I've got a different on-top selection. I think the pace is going to be very, very strong throughout. There's a couple of horses that are really well suited the distance, and to me, a Tissue ticks all the boxes. Matriarch and Champion Stakes winner over the course and distance, as Adam pointed out. Love the win in the Blamey Stakes. Purposefully bypass the All-Star Mile to focus on the Australian Cup. Had a nice soft trial up at in Sydney a couple of weeks ago. I think she's well and truly on song. And I think at the end of a really strongly run Australian Cup over 2,000 metres, she's the one I want to be siding with. So I'm pretty happy that we've got about $6 for her, because I think she's almost a good thing as an each-way bet in the race, because I can't see her not running a place. But I'm pretty keen on her to finish over the top of them. So I've got a Tissue as my best. Now, I've got 2 as value runners. I just think the market's got them wrong a little bit. I've got Legato, $14, the high-class Kiwi mare. She's had 2 solid 2,000-metre runs so far this preparation, winning 1 and narrowly touched off as a short price favourite last start. We know she's handled Flemington before when she won an Australian Guineas. She's very, very good, and I think she's just probably a bigger price than what I thought she'd be. So I'm happy to have a little bit on Legato. And I think Young Werther's low-flying this campaign. Amazing record at Flemington. He ran 3rd in the Champions Stakes. He's got really good 2,000-metre stats, and his performance when winning the Australian Cup Prelude last start was pretty solid. So he's at $31. I think he's worthy of a small little spec bet to possibly throw an upset result. But pretty keen on a Tissue as my best. I really think she's going to be very hard to beat.
Righto, I'm sticking with Pride of Jenny with her in the All-Star Mile. I just reckon she might be something special, and the 2,000 is probably the only question mark, but if they can just get her just to settle just a little bit, I reckon, and still run them off their feet and run them ragged. And it's going to be a nice day, firmish track again, I would imagine, at Flemington, right in the wheelhouse. And I reckon that she's going to be very, very hard to get past. Well, we just haven't seen it, to be honest. Not many horses do get past her. So it's good enough for me. And you're nearly getting $3, which I reckon is great. Cascadian's the one. I reckon I agree with everything you said, Ads. A nice run in the All-Star Mile. Steps out from the 16 to the 2,000 metres. And you would imagine going to absolutely relish it, looking to go back to back. Right, let's turn our attention now to the Tancred Stakes at Rosehill over the 2,400 metres. 4:35 is the time. The market, all thanks to Palmerbet Post Impressionist at $2.20 Buckaroo at 4.80. Tommy Kitten at $7. Military Mission at $9. Ash Run at $11. More Fallons at $11. Biosty Argent at $21. And Gear Up at $34. I'm going to come back to you, Shane. Post-Impressionist could not have been any more impressionable on its Australian debut. It was absolutely blistering that day for William Haggis. You with a fave here, mate? Do you think this horse might be something special?
No, I think he'll run well. First of all, I just wanted to have a kick at this race. I love the Tancred Stakes historically. This is one of the worst Tancred Stakes I've ever seen. And it's just a blight on the programming issue that Australian racing has got, where this race has now been lost in the wash and we're getting a field of solid handicappers in a Group 1 weight for age contest. So that's my dig on the race. Post-Impressionist, very good in the Manion. It's a worthy favourite, but I'm happy to steer away from him. I thought Buckaroo, a horse that I've mentioned a few times in our coverage on this show. I thought he's running around that behind the 2 class mares was great last weekend. I quite like him on the quick backup. And I think at around that sort of $4.80 mark, he's the one I kind of want to be with a little bit more than, say, Post-Impressionist at around even money. So Buckaroo to win the race. I've got him as my best. My value bet is More Felons, currently at around $11. So if you go back through European... Yeah, it was a really good performance, I thought, Matty, and I think the step up in distance is going to suit him ideally. And if you go back to his European form lines before he arrived in Australia, I wouldn't say that there's a great deal between him and Post-Impressionist. Now, you're getting $2.20 Post-Impressionist, you're getting $11 for More Felons. So I just think the way the market's positioned at the moment, for a horse that's coming off a last start win, I'm happy to throw him in as my value bet. But if you like the favourite, I think you're going to get a great run for your money. Just where he is price-wise, I can't entertain him at the moment. So Buckaroo, my best. More Felons, my value.
Beautiful. Ads, what about you, mate?
Yeah, I agree with Shane about the race. I had on my piece of paper here written over leftovers. It almost feels like everyone had a try at the races they wanted, and then they went, oh, this one's still there. Let's just go there now. And we've got a few of the horses on, weak backups. And that's not what you want. Group 1 racing, you should get the best of the best ready to go for this type of race. So, yeah, I'm with Shane. It's a bit of a disappointment, but I am going to go with Post-Impressionist. I thought it was very impressive. I mean, first up, winning by over 3 lengths. Haggis and Mark 1, they just know what to do this time of year in this country as well. They just continue to perform so well. I think the speed will suit. I think just a repeat performance will have it being very, very hard to beat. My value bet, and he's not one of mine. And again, it was just the depth in this race I really struggled with. I've gone with Tom Kitten, and it's just solely because of the J Car factor. When I was thinking about this horse and going back and looking at the replays and looking at all the stewards' reports, he gets himself beat so many times. So many times he's up on the fence, he does something wrong, he's slow away, and it's never been the jockey's fault. Now, we all seen J Car. We know what she can do. I can just picture her jumping on this horse and all of a sudden he turns into the best, most well-behaved animal we've ever seen in our life. He settles, he's happy, and then he flashes down the outside with 54 kilos. So I'm going to put a bit of pressure on her. I think she might be the winning touch here. And, I think barrier 9 from 11 is good for her here because she can just drop out. She doesn't have to be stuck on the fence. And I can see him relaxing and then really showing a nice turn of foot late here. So he'll be my value bet.
Yeah, Post-Impressionist to get the job done, short price, but I don't think it's a much of a fit. Buckaroo, I thought it was good on the quick backup, of course, from last week, but I thought it was pretty good through the line. So stepping out to the 2,400 metres might be the key. So not a lot of value there from my side of things. Let's have a look at the Vinery Stud Stakes over the 2,000 metres. It's at 4 o'clock on Saturday, and the Palmer Bet Market Orchestral at $1.55. Very, very short. Sardozi at $4. Autumn Angel at $8.50. Kimochi at $9.50. Tutor Levita at $26. Queen of Dragons $41. Mayor of Mount Buller at $41, and our Gold Hope at $81. The New Zealand filly Adam McGrath really, really short here, been winning by big margins. Are you going that way, or are you thinking tread warily at the short price, first run in Australia?
No, I'm not treading warily at all. I was actually working here in America when she raced that night, and all of the hype building into it, I thought she'd want to be good with how much they're talking, and she was exceptional. And I've sort of lost the concern with these New Zealand horses coming to Australia and performing. We've seen that they've got the winning formula. They know how to come here and run first up and compete, and they do their programming really well. J-Mac jumps in the saddle, barrier 2. I think she's just going to have the class here. I think she'll be too good for them. So she's on top for mine from what we've seen over there in New Zealand. My value bet's got to be Tutor Levita. This is a horse that I threw out as my value bet a couple of times last preparation. Third in the flight last year over the mile, then fourth in the Champion Stakes behind Tom Kitten. I thought the third up run really well. This prep will be really good. From the mile to the 2,000, love the closing at Kembla. I think this horse is just a genuine stay. Once you get 2,000 metres plus, you're going to get a nice result. And it's a big, big, big price. So Tutor Levita, I'll be throwing in my first fours, quaddies, all of that, and just hoping that we get a bit of a sight there. But I'm hoping that this New Zealand Derby winner brings her class and we all sort of, have something to be really excited for later on in the year.
Shano?
Yeah, she ticks every box for mine. I think she's one of the best bets of the weekend, Orchestral, even though she's pretty tight in the market there at $1.55. Look, Roger James is a genius trainer. He's one of my favourite trainers. He only brings horses to Australia when he thinks they can measure up, and it's been proven time and time again. He's had many, many top-class fillies in his training career, including Silent Achiever. And this one he's got right at the top of the tree. So I think Orchestral should be winning this, although I'm not denying Zardozi is a very, very good filly. I just think on what I've seen so far, I've got Orchestral probably a couple of lengths better than Zardozi, and that then suggests that she might have a considerable margin over the rest of the fillies, because Zardozi has proven herself now to be one of the very best of the Australian 3-year-old fillies. But Orchestral for mine, clearly the one to beat. I liked Adam's push for Tutor Levita. I think she's got a great chance at a big price. But the one I've thrown as my value bet is Mare of Mount Buller, who's been in winning form in much lower grade than this. She's $41. There's just that little bit of X factor about her as that type that could sort of come from nowhere and then really just build a considerable profile over the next 12 to 18 months. So I think at the price, I'm happy to have something on her as an each way selection in the race, but I'm very, very keen on Orchestral. I think she'll win and win easily.
Gee whiz, you two are both with the fave. I've steered away. I've tried to find a little bit of value, and I was really impressed with the victory of Zardozi. He come from a long way back and won by a good margin, like running away for mine. So I'm just going on the thing that I think maybe, there might be just an awkward spot and running or something for Orchestral. But I think Zardozi at the $4.20 is certainly a little bit more value. And the one I put in at a little bit of value is the Victorian Raider, Autumn Angel. Peter Mooney and Catherine Coleman, they're bringing them up when they think that they're a live chance. This horse was pretty impressive at Flemington. Nice win last start behind or against Basilina. So I just reckon it's at a nice price, and got the services of the great Jay Carr as well. So that is the way I'm playing the Vinery Stud Stakes on the weekend. Let's have a look at our best bets right across the country, boys. I'll come back to you, Shano, first. What else do you like, mate?
Yeah, Orchestral, as I mentioned, Matty, is one of my best for the weekend. I think she'll win, but I also think another will. Now, I know there's been a lot of talk about him heading towards the Doncaster, and there's been big money on him in the prelude already, so we've probably missed the price, but I really find it very hard to see him getting beaten on Saturday. He's just that emerging talent for Kieran Maher. So I've got Rosehill Race 7 Orchestral, Rosehill Race 9, another will is my two best for the weekend.
Yeah, one from the Kieran Maher team, of course. Colin and Janice McKenna Silks. They got another good one there, I reckon. Plenty of upside. Ads, what about you, big fella?
Yeah, we'll head back out west. Actually,
you got the chockies last week.
I wasn't too happy with it, to be honest, because someone that called me had Riff Rocket, because we all tipped it, into yours, Chain of Lightning, into Wild Bell, and I got a phone call about 3 a.m. because time differences mean nothing, apparently, when you're winning on the punt. And it was a group of lads screaming, so they were very happy. I mean, you added the value there, Matty, but it almost made me not want to throw anything out at Ascot and do something early. So I am going to go with race 1 at Ascot on Saturday. Race 1, number 10, at your service. Luke Feeney's got a lot of good 2-year-olds up to the 1,200 metres. I think this will be flashing home late. And then race 7, number 5, Thomas Magnum. I'm hoping we get an each-way quote. It was a really good run. It went down to Albany for the Bluff Knoll and got held up for a little part, but when it got out, it flashed home late. It drops back to a 66 grade, and I think we'll get an each-way price here. So race 1, number 10, at your service, and race 7, number 5, Thomas Magnum.
I'm just trying to do the maths. It would have been over 100 to 1, I reckon, that little...
yeah, I mean, I couldn't understand a lot of what was being said, but they were very happy with the Palmer Bet podcast.
That is great. Hey, I'm going back to Flemington. Race 6, number 6, Sir Atlas, my best for the weekend. I just reckon got to the not the best part of the track last up, back to the inside, had to kind of dart back. And this horse track galloped on Monday with Tuvalu and looked really good. So, and I think Linz was kind of humming and hawing whether to push on towards Saturday. And the fact that he has, I reckon he was pretty happy with the work earlier on in the week. And then out wide, I'm going back to Flemington as well. Race 2, number 14. At a decent price, a horse called Scully. Stepped out to the 40, was good 2 back, climbing all over them, stepped out to the 1400. It was like they thought, oh, well, I think the horse needs a bit more ground. They go back to the 1100 this week, and Johnny Allen in the saddle. I reckon the race isn't that strong. So I reckon this horse at about 19, 20 bucks might be a nice little each way play early on at Flemington to maybe stop those phone calls coming late to you ads at Vegas. Hey, listen, it's going to be another wonderful weekend of racing. It's been a great 4 or 5 weeks, to be honest, hasn't it, gents? It's been magnificent. And, there's a lot of knocks on racing and stuff at the moment, but the actual general racing has been absolutely brilliant, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've seen some really good stories already, as you mentioned, some nice horses. And let's see if we add another one, the filly and the binary this weekend.
Yeah, tend to agree. The action on the track has been quite superb. So hopefully we see more of that. And, 3 Group 1s to whet our appetite. And, of course, not too far away from the big action at Round Week coming up in the next few weeks.
Beautifully done. Download the Palmerbet app, get involved, and, hopefully we can tip you a few more winners this weekend. It is all a whole lot of fun. I look forward to catching up with you guys next weekend. Have a great Easter as well. What's on for Easter, gents? I'll start with you, Shano. Anything happening? Do they have Easter over in Copenhagen, mate? She's all systems go.
Yeah, this part of the world, Easter is a very big deal, so I'll be eating a hell of a lot.
Good on you, mate. That's what it's all about. And Vegas, it's always Easter over there, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, it is, but they don't believe in holidays, so I'll be working every single day and enjoying every part of it.
No public holidays in the States. I love it.
Don't
hey,
exist.
We'll see you next week, boys. Good punting.
See you guys.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.